thinks I'm not fun. So we're gonna do bowling to prove that I am. Okay, now let's see it. Storybook roleplay. A game you probably remember playing on Roblox, or not. The game is famous for being shut down numerous times, but mostly for its variety of characters. From the ups and the downs, to the amounts of sheer variety from the many games of history of Mario, there are many things you can do here. But it may all seem like a perfect role-playing game, but something lies in the game that's creepy. And this ain't no happy mystery. This is the story of Castle Plexus. Yeah. Okay. Hello, detectives. I don't have my headphones on because we gotta solve a mystery here. And it's a mystery pretty strange that not even Mr. Mario can know about. So, let's get started with this mystery. Bingo right now. Now, let's start off with Rouge repairs. Roadport repairs. So, damn it. So you'll see a bunch of stuff here, like a Game Boy, some batteries, and a brown switch button. But what's more interesting is the inside. The inside is full of secrets, like the hidden like the Unagi and the Grolls and the bloopers. There's also a game room with wonder flowers, time coins, even a Nintendo Switch. There's also the moon from Mario Maker 2, and a propeller box from Wii. There's also some chainsaws and the sun. There's also stuff like a scarecrow and the frozen shell from Mario Strikers. But then we take a look into one room, and you'll see this. Who is this lady, and why is she on the board? So, we don't really know who this lady is. So, and there's also a portrait of her getting more and more creepy. There's other rooms in here, but none of them hold up to this room. Like, what is going on here? There's also a few other things, like a skeleton in the bathroom. Like, why is there a skeleton? And who is this guy? And why is he in a bathtub? And yet again, no one really knows. There's also a basement that I'm pretty sure you can't enter, even if you get past the borders, but still. What is up with this portrait? And who is this lady too? Well, to learn more, we need to go somewhere, and it will happen later in the video. Or there's more secrets here too, like the wonder flower and the little mansion. But if you go into the bathroom and look in the closet, you'll see plenty of Easter eggs. But there's one that's sort of creepy. There, do you see it? I know you see it. That's right. It's a cursed photo of Peach. There may be other secrets that you know, like the trophies and Exor from Mario RPG. But something's not right here. Like, who is this lady? And why is she on this? So, it looks all smiley and her eyes are hollow black. But in order to learn more, we need to go somewhere. Somewhere that has like a Halloween-y theme to it. Now, if you're in Boo Woods or by Luigi's Mansion, you'll probably see this trail with candles lit. And then you go in it, and you have to do some platforming to get there, and you'll notice a purple pipe. And this pipe will take you to HorrorLand from Mario Party 2. And I want to say, they did a good job with the Halloween aesthetic. With all the ghosts, the ketchup blood, the stuff, and even the noose on the tree. And you'll also notice a Goomba hut here. And if you go behind it, well, it says something called Evil Isles. Now, what are the Evil Isles? Well, that's a mystery for another day, but let's say you go here and you find this book. And it mentions something about Castle Plexus. Now, what is the Castle Plexus? Well, it will be something that will maybe disturb you and both leave you excited. Now, if you read some of the dialogue, well, I won't go through all the dialogue, so if you go in here, you'll see a bunch of spying stuff there of these places and people going missing, and it's definitely a terrifying thing to see. But what's even more terrifying is if you read book 4, and you'll notice that something bad is starting to happen, as if she was staring, that smile, that grin. And apparently her name is Niece Momo, described as the judge and jury. And it's safe to say that this princess isn't nice. And apparently the 9 days montage he doesn't know if he'll save the castle, and most likely went insane. Now, if you go here into the portrait of Womp's fortress, you'll find 2 doors. One that says Tamed Ghost and 9 days. If you go in Tamed Ghost, everything seems fine. But it doesn't. The candles are lit black. The room is darkened. And the peach portrait turns into some sort of red-eyed peach. Almost like if she's a ghost. But what's even worse, if you go in the 9 days door, everything's distorted. Bookshelves are knocked over, paintings are tipped, and worst of all, the room with all the stuff is blocked. And once you go into the portrait, you find the creepy Peach. Now, what exactly is going on with this Peach? Why is she like this? Or Miss Momo? And what is even going on with her? Well, in order to learn more, I taught something about a sunken castle shit. The deep sea is one of those places where you can be a fish and swim, but lies by the seaweed is pretty disturbing. Here you'll see a sunken Peach's castle, but when you go inside, something odd happens. But it doesn't look like Peach's castle at first, because apparently it tricks you into thinking you're in Peach's castle. Now, it does have everything, from the rooms to the coins to the trapdoor room, Babylon Battlefield, Cool Mountain. It has everything, but it takes a dark turn when you go into the door to the floor 2, and you find that the place is in ruins. Like, what happened here? Did something go wrong with the castle's pressure? Seaweed is taking over. Rocks are starting to form. The paintings are tipped, and there are cracks in the walls. What's even worse, though, is when you go into the room where the 3rd floor is Tick-Tock Clock and the final Bowser door, you'll eventually find something disturbing. You'll see that the Peach portraits are looking a little strange. And then all the Bowser portraits have the same fate. As you can see, Bowser is looking a little creepy looking. Like, what is happened to this Bowser? Like, what is wrong with him? Is he on crack? And when you do go back, you do have to complete a maze in order to escape the place. But if you want to learn more, you want to make sure to be on a full server to do this. But if you go downstairs into the basement where it's usually locked, you'll see a blank painting, and there's a wooden platform on it. But when you go onto the platform, the music fades away into something a bit more disturbing. You see a bright light. However, that bright light, it takes you to another place with a bunch of toad statues all over. you've entered somewhere. You can even talk to them, and they say that she watches everything. However, it doesn't stop there before the eclipse, and you don't have to go to the red door. You can actually go into the Peach portrait to find something more disturbing. And once you go in here, you realize that this is not Peach's castle. The mural is Miss Momo. There's vines and goop all over the place. This castle is in ruins, a bunch of statues. There's a actually terrifying portrait of Peachy in this room, and I have no idea why this even exists in the first place. And you actually see it morph, but you get teleported and the room flips, and then you see Miss Momo here. Can't stop. Like, what do you want from me? Just tell me. But when you enter this white door, something happens, and it's a shocker. Oh, hey, it's just storybook roleplay. But what was that? Is this really storybook roleplay? Well, all our answers will be seen in Peach's castle itself, in the dining room. So, now that we know everything, why don't we take a look in the castle? And why? In the dining room. Now, you may think everything's right, but the wall is missing and it reveals a room. And you see portraits of Tiny Huge Island and Tall Mountain. And when you enter the door, you're in the inner castle. You see millions of portraits, the checkerboard floors, and a lot more to see. And it's honestly that good. But when you see here, you want to bring a carrot or a flashy tanuki tail with you for here to hoverboard over this fake floor to go here. But however, if you reach the end, you'll notice that it says you need 2,401 stars, which honestly sucks. Like, what is behind that door? But when you go for the floor, you'll reach the main area. And there's a lot of things you can take a look at and explore around here. Like, there's tons of doors. And there's also a bunch of rooms here that you can take a look around. Like, one room is this room that looks like a living room. However, there's a huge hole in the floor. And there's a Seek Chase-like replica of doors, although this isn't related to the actual game. Doors. And then you see a red switch button. And you can't press it. So, what's up with these switch buttons? And why are they here? And then there's also a yellow room that takes you to a dining room, which is interesting. There's a few photos like this one I can't make out. A King Bill from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and there's also this one place here. It takes you to a room which is like the clock tower room. We've had many things, like portraits of a mountain, a Pokey, and a Fly Guy, and a Boo, and Yoshi too. And there's also this one room here with a bunch of portraits. I'm not going to go all over all of them. I just thought they were a cool addition to this room because it adds a bit of life and charm into the place. But there's more than meets the eye here than this dining room. There's also a like green, I think maybe blue-green room that has the infinite sewer that you saw in back in HorrorLand. And you're basically reliving the same terror that Toad had. But onto the purple room, you see a bunch of Toad statues, and it makes a question: did Toads were the slaves of Miss Momo? It's a hard name to say, or it could be just a coincidence. But let's go to the blue room, and you'll find a bunch of stuff like a Hazy Maze Cave portrait and a Bob-omb Battlefield portrait, but you also see a fountain area where you can wash your hands. However, if you go down this hallway of statues of Goombas, Chukkas, piranha plants, and toads, you'll see a gray area that you can actually enter. And, well, it's basically the limitless room experience, but however, if you go down this long hallway, you'll actually see a whole distorted Bowser's portrait. And it shows that the King Koopa is going through an internal crisis. And you can actually click on the photo. It does like nothing. I really don't know what it does. But if you go down here, well, let's say you go into the library. It has the blue switch place. Well, the blue switch from the blue switch palace. And then you go out here, and you see these rooms called the secondary halls. You go into the room and you see some toad statues, meaning this was maybe there. You see a bush of Mario and a tower painting, and then you go inside to find more rooms. Like there's one room with another room that says more of the secondary towers. It's currently a work in progress, but you have a water painting room, a painting with a tiny huge island reference with Galoombas, a room with snow, and there's also a room with the maze that was mentioned in the book. However, if you go on top of the maze, you can see a garden with toads bowing down to Niece Momo statue. And then there's the Eclipse Towers, which currently aren't being made yet, but maybe we'll see them soon. And there's also a lot more to cover, so like what does that pipe lead to in this one unbeatable room? But it's all just a big mystery. Now, that mystery was terrifying to look at, but we have more mysteries coming around the corner. Strange things are happening to me.